Welcome back to the Titanium Hangout. This is Mike. I'm coming at you with another video, and this time I'm talking about part 2 of 4 of Takara versus Third Party. Now, before I get into all this, I would like you to gently place a like on the video, because you might not like what I have to say coming up. Ha 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 ha! What? You didn't think that was funny? Okay. Well, anyway, let's move into this really fast. If you're new to the channel, I'm doing a 4-part series on Takara versus Third Party, and there's a whole lot going on in the third party scene. There's a whole lot going on with Takara, pluses, minuses, and all this great stuff. And so I don't want you to miss the upcoming videos. Now, I also want you to comment down below, because I use comments to structure the next video, and I actually change the sequence based on the comments. So now we're getting into Takara's mistakes. So what mistakes has Takara made? Well, first of all, they switched scales. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I know most people don't care, but I still care. I mean, I was there day one, and I was excited about MP01, and, you know, I snapped a couple of pictures myself that suck, but I'm going to show them to you anyway. And the thing is that in the 80s collecting world, 3.75-inch figures were all the rage. Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and pretty much everything else were the top lines. And to have a figure that was 3.75 next to a G1 figure looks stupid, but next to MP01, it almost felt right. But it doesn't feel right next to the 9-inch. I mean, it's starting to go backwards, and I didn't like that. Now, there's a whole lot of reasons why they did that, and I understand. You know, they save money. It costs them less, but they charge us more. I mean, I understand that. Let's give them more money, but get less out of it. And then I understand some collectors, space is a huge deal. I get that, but I still feel like a masterpiece should feel like a masterpiece. When it's a Transformer, it should feel massive versus sort of barely there. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, my next thing that I think that Takara's a mistake they made is losing the die cast. So MP01 was so amazing because he had so much die cast, and now we're going with, we got die cast maybe in the feet and sort of in the screws. I don't think they got a plastic screws yet. So feet and screws. That's all the die cast we get anymore. We're paying $450 for a standard size figure, and then $120 for a mini bot to get die cast in the feet. And so wait. Bumblebee's not gonna have any die cast at all, is he? So we've gotten away from die cast. Now, I've discussed this issue over and over with many other people. Why no die cast? And I'm hearing a few things. Like, number one, die cast costs more than plastic. Well, actually, the actual cost is similar. Okay, so let's move on to another one. The molds cost more to cast. That's a one-time cost, and then you just crank it all out. So here's something that I see. I see that Disney can put out a completely die-cast 7.5-inch figure when Hasbro puts out a really lightweight figure in plastic, and they're similar in price and similar in size. Yes, I understand that Transformer figures have 100 pieces and there's only like 16 pieces in a 6-inch Black Series figure. I understand all that, but the reality is, talking about materials only, die-cast doesn't cost that much more. So why are we paying so much more just to get flimsy plastic and it not feel quality in your hand? So okay, I think that's a huge mistake. And then somehow Bandai can still do it. If Bandai can do it with Soul Chigokin, why can't Takara? I digress. Let's go on to the next point. So they're trading off aesthetic for some of their articulation, and it's kind of like they bounce back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So with Hot Rod, he looked like he found a cardboard box in the alley and put it on his chest, and that was his chest. He didn't look like an actual bot. So they put that thing out. Now it's very articulated, and it is a smooth transformation, and it looks good in the car mode, but 95% of the people care more about the robot mode, in my belief. And having this weird looking chest is okay. I didn't sign off on that. Now, Ultra Magnus has probably 40% of the articulation that we would expect from Masterpiece figure. And wait till the end. I have more Ultra Magnus discussion coming up, so I'll just leave it at that. He's too big, he's too bulky, there's a whole lot of problems with him. We have to fix the ratchets and all of this stuff if we want to make it a good figure. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Next, Ironhide. Now, Ironhide, we had a Shadow Fisher set that fixed his side pieces and his gun. You know what? It's a masterpiece. We shouldn't have to do that. Let's go ahead and get out our fix-it gloves, get a bunch of tools out as soon as we pop the box open to make it look almost screen accurate, you know. I don't like that. So we're actually going to touch on that even a little bit more. No, let's touch on it now. We're going to say Wei Zhang fixed all that. And then they even fixed the pregnant belly gut in a way. But yet they gave up aesthetic. And it has some good posability. But they gave up that aesthetic on purpose. They could have fixed it. They could have done more. So next, repaints without updating. So I put out a video about Is It Too Tuned? And one of the issues in there is we're going to just take an old figure that was made to look real world, as if a car transformed, but not match the cartoon. And I said, okay, this is as close we'll get to the cartoon. We get about 68% to the cartoon, and that's all we're going to get. Well, you know what? We have real world constraints. I'll accept that, and I'll pay my $60 and go down the road. Well, now we're going to repaint those as Toon, and we're not going to go the extra mile to fix the issues that kept it from looking like a Toon silhouette. So Takara's got that mistake. They should have taken this opportunity to make Sideswipe's chests a little bit more trimmed and sleek. We should have taken this time to make all the figures look more like the cartoon and not just paint them different. But yeah, we're going to charge you $20 more than we charge you for the first one because of time value of money. I get all that. But the reality is you could simply add one more part or two more parts and fix some problems, and they chose not to. I think that's a mistake. And so why am I saying that's a mistake? Well, X-Transbots is coming out with Arcos. They're going to put some die-cast in it. They're going to make it right. They're going to fix some of the issues they had. And they're reissuing it with a fix. When these companies come out with reissues, they also come out with fixes. They don't just say, oh, well, this is a problematic figure, and we've gotten 65,000 complaints about it, but we're going to put it out the same exact way. No. We're going to give some updated paint schemes. No. They're fixing it. X-Transbots is fixing it. X-Transbots, Keith over there heard all of the complaints, because there's a lot of complaints about X-Transbots figures, and he's making steps to fix it. Takara chooses completely to ignore any of the complaints and just says, let's give you a new paint scheme on a figure that has some issues. Next, remaking the same figure. So when I was introduced to the concept of Masterpiece Transformers, this is a masterpiece, the best it will ever be. Well, now we're on the third version of the best it'll ever be. Masterpiece is supposed to be the best it'll ever be. And at the time MP01 came out, it was the best looking, most G1 accurate MP Optimus Prime. It beat everything else. I wish that we would have had a chug scale version of it at the time. I wished so much would have been different, but you know, the reality of it is it was the best we could be. Now I looked at it and I said, it's not perfect. We could do better. But man, that thing is great. It's the best I've seen. And you know what? Now we're on to the third version of Prime. Second version of Bumblebee. The second version, well, they're repainting a lot of these. Okay, so I got that. But how many more figures are they going to redo? And, you know, I'm actually going to wait until the very last point to tell you the figure that I think is MP50. MP50. And that last point is price. Woo! That's a big mistake. So, Dinobot came out at $250. Good figure, great figure. Megatron comes out at $320 to $330, depending on where you get it, and has some stress issues, thin plastic cracking, problems in the most expensive figure that they've made for the Masterpiece line. And I'm not even going to get into how Beast Wars should not be MP. It should be BW and start over. It should not be looped in with G1 Masterpiece? No. It should have its own name. I'm not getting into that now. That's a future video. But MP44, which is the third version of Prime, is going to be $450. And so with that, the price of that thing is, they're outpricing the market. They are taking collectors who love this stuff and scrounge up money to buy these things, and now going a bit too far. But they're not done yet. See, they've done this. 250, 320, 450 steps. These are steps they're taking. The next step, I predict that they're going to take the MP44 mold, they're going to paint it white, they're going to put a trailer that is a parts forming trailer like Ultra Magnus. MP50 is going to be Ultra Magnus. They're going to make an Ultra Magnus for almost $500 MSRP. And that's the next step. And we're not going to see it for 2 years. But it's logical. Because MP10, they actually have some test shots of MP10 and trying to do that with MP10, and it wouldn't work because the lower legs were way too bulky. And that actually made me put it back down when I first had one in my hand for $100. I had two of them for $100 each, and I was going to buy one and then sell the other, whatever. And I said, this thing is just too bulky. My MP01 has a better silhouette, which it did. So anyway, Takara's made some mistakes. Now every company makes mistakes. I have to admit, most of them learn from it and move on. I want to hear your feedback. I want you to like, subscribe, let me know what's going on. Tune in for the next 2 installments of Takara versus Third Party. See who wins. Takara, hang her out.